preparing for the journey. Pilgrims. More stories of the pilgrims preparing for the journey. That spring brought very busy days to the pilgrims in Leiden. Those who were going to America had many things to prepare, and those who stayed behind were glad to help them get ready. They must have plenty of cloth made, for there would be no time to weave more until their new homes were built. It would be a cold winter by that time, and they must have warm jackets and dresses and cloaks. So, went the spinning wheels from morning till night, and click, clack, went the big looms as the flying shuttle wove the gray yarn into cloth. Remember, they didn't have stores that they could just get all these clothes. They had to make them themselves. Far into the night, the tired women stitched with busy fingers. In those days, all the sewing had to be done by hand, and it took much time and much patient labor to make a garment. There was plenty of work for the children as well as for the elders, for their elders. Even tiny hands could hold the thread while Mother wound the yarn into a ball, and you should have seen the dozens of thick, warm mittens and stockings that were knit by little hands that summer. The pilgrims could not take any cows with them, so in every cottage there were small tubs being packed with sweet yellow butter to be taken to the new homes across the sea. It would take them many weeks to cross the ocean, and much food would be needed for the journey. They could not raise more grain until the next summer, so they must take enough to last them all winter. With the money the pilgrims had given him, Elder Brewster had bought a small ship in Holland. It was called the Speedwell, and it now waited for them at Delfshaven, about 24 miles away. If you had been in Leiden one morning late in July, you might have seen the pilgrims loading the canal boats which would carry them to Delfshaven. Almost before it was light that morning, the men began to carry things upon the boats. Their kind Dutch neighbors worked as busily as they, helping to carry the heavy boxes of shipbread, salted meats, or dried fruits. There were barrels and barrels of meal, and other barrels holding grain for seed. There were great sacks of beans, dried peas, and vegetables, but at last the boats were loaded. The pilgrims had made friends in England who they thought would like to go to America with them, so Elder Brewster had gone to England to see them and to arrange for a ship to carry them all across the sea. He was gone several weeks, and when he returned, he found the pilgrims ready for the journey. Each family could take only a few of the most needed things. There would not be room on the ship for all of their goods, so they would only take those that they could not make. The beautiful china plates and the cups they had brought in Holland must be left, for they would be so easily broken. Their old pewter dishes would last much longer, and they would look very well when they were scoured bright with sand. They would take their silver spoons and their steel knives that they had brought from England, the old brass candlesticks, the spinning wheels, and the great copper kettles must have a place in the boat. So when they were moving, they couldn't take all of the nice things. They had to take the sturdy, useful things that would last, because they were going to a far country that had no stores where they could purchase things. Okay, this picture says 2 men bring a cask on board, and you can see a woman churning the butter. Let's look at the men bringing a cask on board, and then the woman is churning the butter. Can you see this? Let's listen to our questions. What were the women busy making for those who would be going to America? What ship were they planning to take from Holland? List 4 kinds of food they had packed in barrels to take. And list 3 of the items that they took. This is Grandma Carla. the stories of the pilgrims. I love you.